everybody, welcome back to the Firefly Studio 67. My name is Gina. Today we are going to carry on with the Junk Journal 101 series, and I'm going to introduce embossing to elements. I love to use it because it adds so much texture, and this morning I just spent a little bit of time just cutting out some frames and bits and pieces that we can use to create this little framed cluster. I think this would be really pretty. You could either put this in a pocket or you could have it glued into your journal. It just is a really pretty little element to add to a journal page. Very easy to do, minimal supplies. The first thing you're going to want to do is we're going to work with the craft cardstock today, but I have cut out some white ones, and I thought colored cardstock would also be very, very pretty. I might do that later. I just didn't want to pull it all out this morning. So what I've done here is just cut out a frame. Now you can either do this with a die cut, or you could take a utility knife and a one of these pads that is for cutting. But you're going to want to get that cut out for whatever size frame you want. And then I have just taken some of my wildflower cutouts, as you can see here, and then I've just added a little bit of paint to it, and then a focal point, which this is a stamp that I purchased some time back, and I just want to start using these things up. I've added some vintage lace, and then here I've stamped on fabric. So if you've never stamped on fabric, I'll just show you very quickly. When I do this, I try to do it several at one time, since I have the supplies out. So this, you're going to need StazOn, which is a permanent ink, and that's what I've done with this. So I just try to stamp several images that I think I could use at one time, and I keep those around handy. So that's what I've done here, and that's just got the little date there. So let's just get started on this project. I'll sit those to the side. I'll sit this up in the corner. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to move this now. I just wanted you to be able to see that clearly. I know this board is very distracting. So the first thing you want to do is cut your frame out, and then you're going to want to run that through an embossing folder, and that's just going to give you so much interest and texture there. And to bring that out, I took a little bit of acrylic paint, and I just dipped my brush into it and kind of just try to get that dry. I don't know if you've ever done the dry brushing before, but that's where you just very lightly go across, and that will pull out that detail. So you really want the brush almost completely dry in order to do this. But see how that's bringing that out so much more. And then we're going to just decide which of the Tim Holtz wildflowers we're going to use this time. I kind of like that. I think that will be nice. I'll cut it off here. So with this one, I'm going to do the same thing, just lightly dry brush that. And then we are now going to come back in. Oh yes, one more element is I've cut a 1-inch circle here on the background, and really it's more interest, plus it supports these really fragile die cuts. So we want to do the same thing here, and then we're going to now go over it with some vintage photo Distress ink. And I'm not going to cover all of it, it's just a few places here and there just to add interest. And we're going to do everything that's going to go on here is going to have the same process because I want this to be a very neutral element. Alright, so those are our three main components. Set this over here. And so now I'm just going to start with the back, which is the circle, and that's going to provide just a little bit more for the flower. I did not need to put all that glue around there. I was not thinking, so don't do that, guys. And I'm just going to bring that in and adhere it to the frame. So yes, you can see I don't need that glue. Let me just grab a baby white. Now, the other thing you could do at this point is if you wanted to add let me see, if I've got a sheet here. You could add either tracing paper, or if you wanted that, well, let me show you on this one since this one's complete. You could add that, and that's what it would end up looking like. And I would suggest you'd probably want to do that if you were going to turn this into a pocket. You could use that, or you could use the acetate, which will be much sturdier, but I don't want to do it on this project because it's got that glare. I would probably go with the tracing paper. And that's how you could very easily turn this into a pocket for your journal. Okay? Alright, so back to this one. So now the next thing I want to do is just get this adhered, and I really like the way that looks. And up here, we're just going to make sure all of this is stuck down. Now that's going to stick out over, but that's fine. I think it adds a lot more interest if it does. I'm just going to snip that little bit off the bottom. Put a little bit of glue there just to make sure all that's stuck. And now we want to add a little bit of trim got a piece here, and then I'm going to decide on, okay, let me grab, this is the postcard I'm going to use. Let me just go ahead because I'm going to lay things out first before I put it down. Okay, it's a shame it's going to cover that, but I could come back with another bit and add up here. I might actually do that. I think that's going to look nice. Okay, let me just... So you're going to use a couple of these die cuts, and you can kind of fill it in. Just going to get a little bit more white on that. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to have that overlapping just a little bit there. Okay. And the other thing I want to see, okay, like that. And then do I want to add a little bit of this? I think I'll just go with a plain bit of the muslin. And what you can do is just kind of unravel this, and it'll make it look, you know, more worn. And if you want to just ink it, you could do that as well. Alright, let's get our... Boy, my ink, Fabri-Tac is getting very thick. And you know what? I'm going to add a little bit of string behind this one. This is just linen. It's linen thread, but it's very, very fine. I ordered this thinking it was going to be the thicker that I prefer, but when it came in it wasn't, so. And all I'm going to do is just kind of ball that up. And I just play around with it until I get it so that it's showing. Let's get this little piece. I'm so glad to be using these little bits and pieces up. These are all little things from the Field Notes collection, and they're just so tiny and fiddly, but in this project they work really, really well. Okay, so the other thing I added was a button. I think that's just finishes it off really nice. So let me see, where did I go with that? Okay. kind of like that one. It's very unusual. And I've got one more of the little leaves. I think that would actually look really nice just sticking out right here. Yeah, I really like that. And this little button, I'm going to add the Fabri-Tac to it just to make sure that it holds it down really well. Okay guys, I'll let that dry for just a minute and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so there you have it. That was very quick, very easy, minimal supplies. I hope that you've enjoyed that. If you've got any questions, just leave them in the comment below. I check the comments pretty regularly, so if there's anything that you're not sure about, just ask in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope this has offered a few more ideas on projects that you can do with minimal supplies and very stress-free, easy, and fun. So take care, everybody. I'll be back very soon. Bye-bye.